I'm Gaz, and this is Let's Play Zeus, Master of Olympus, the Sandbox edition, the actual Sandbox edition. I said that in the last series where I actually ended up doing the Odyssey missions and some of the other custom campaigns. This time, this will be an actual Sandbox game where I will attempt to build a Greek city, similar to my Emperor series where I just built a Chinese city. This one's going to be a little bit different for me because Zeus does not really play well with a sandbox sprawl. It very much rewards building blocks and having your walker paths optimized. I'm going to try and do one that is a little bit more organic, which is hard for me to begin with, because if you've watched my series, you know I kind of like keeping things organized and a little bit orderly. So this one will be interesting, I think. I'm also going to try and make it a little bit more realistic. Rather than maximizing all the buildings, this has got the best map, the economic, just the regular Zeus one. Poseidon does offer several other maps, economic 2, military 2, etc. This one I think is the best, and you will see why. We're going to put this on beginner level because I want the most money possible, and there is a little bit of colony building, but it is otherwise sandbox. Let me finish my first thought there. So I'm going to try and do sort of a social scale. I'm not going to do fully upgraded buildings. Everybody has access to everything. So we're going to see rich districts and poorer districts. I'm going to try and not have everyone poverty level, because then that'll give me unrest and problems. But we'll see what kind of balance we can get in the buildings and make it look a little bit more interesting. Anyway, for centuries, people have flocked to Greece's large and beautiful cities, hoping to lead prosperous lives. In their attempts to provide for their people, leaders have stripped the Greek countryside of its resources, and now these leaders are scrambling to make sure that their citizens are clothed and fed, and that their militaries have all the supplies they need. Quickly, they are finding that Greece itself can no longer support its large population, so we go to Atlantis. No, your city at Larissa in Ionia will provide the city-states of the mainland, and you'll be able to turn a tidy profit. Though Larissa has vast supplies of marble and wood, it is lacking the resources that people need to lead satisfying lives. You'll be able to acquire these items from other leaders, but it would be better if your kingdom could produce them itself. The gods can provide you with some of the goods you need, and you can also establish colonies whose resources will complement Larissa's. When you are ready to establish the first colony, click on the gold button and set aside the goods the colony needs to get started. Alright. So, this map is pretty large, and it's got a pretty good layout. It's got this nice hill here, which I'm envisioning will be good for a temple, a very small temple, going up here. I cannot access this little hilltop here. There is actually no way up it, I don't believe. So, kind of useless. Maybe I'll put a garden or something there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think this will be good for administrative, obviously, if those rocks were not there. And I could go into the editor and maybe get rid of those. But because of that, I'll only really be able to put in maybe Dionysus or Hermes. Sadly, we do not have access to, first of all the gods, but Aphrodite. Aphrodite is probably really the most useful early on for city growth, because she helps make sure no one can leave, and she blesses homes that allow people to move in a little bit faster. So we'll probably go Athena for sure. If we've got silver on the map, Hades. If we got bronze, and I think there's some down here. Then we got marble. Well, okay, we might not actually have minerals on this map. Some of them are very mineral rich. We don't appear to have that, so we will not be doing Hephaestus or Hades. Hades will help with tax collection, but we can only have 4 temples. That has always been the rule, so knocking those 2 out leaves the rest, obviously. Okay, yeah, so anyway, as you saw, there is this hill, and this hill, and they will all have temples upon them. We've got a nice big area here in the middle, which is going to be where the city will sprawl. And I'm going to attempt, as I said, to make it look a little bit more realistic, so that's going to include walls and sectioning off, and it's not going to be a nice grid pattern, it's going to be a little bit of a sprawl. We probably will have my initial growth down here, and Athena, let's see how big this is. Athena will not fit here. Darn it. Because Athena blesses growers' fields, which means that having her over here would help, and Demeter would also be good, but she will not fit either. Okay, well, this might not go as planned. But there is another growing area up here, and it is also by the urchins. We do not have access to fish on this one. I have access to onions and urchins. But I do have access to wine and olive oil, so that's pretty good. Don't have access to fleece, so that'll be the first thing we have to trade for. Alright. Marble, so I can at least start building some. We'll have to import bronze for temples. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to try and do this one sort of free form and a little bit more of a flow rather than laying out, as I said, which means I'm not going to pause this one. Which could be good, could be bad. But anyway, so central to my city, I would like to have an Agora, and I would like to have the administrative center. Now, that's going to be a little bit different than my Emperor City layout, because there's really only one administrative building. I don't have a mint, I don't have really access for like a large temple monument structure thing. I could put together with the sanctuary, and maybe I should actually look how many temples I can get on this big one, because obviously if I'm going to go that way, see, now there is a little bit growth here though, so I could still use them up here, but I don't know if they can actually share the plateau. Looks like they might be able to, but I could do them together. Yeah, I don't know. Dionysus and Hermes are very small, so that's fine. But it also has a problem, this layout idea, with an Agora, because the walker system in the game doesn't really let me have an actual Greek Agora, which would basically just be a huge open market type thing. In the real world, here I am pretty much stymied to having to... Where the hell is it even? I've forgotten the game. There, okay, yeah. I'm pretty much limited to having a small thing for each block of housing, which means I'm going to have a pretty much a central distribution hub to make this look somewhat realistic, and that might be a little bit different for how the housing is going to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll just go ahead and say something central here, maybe? Trying to look at the map and see where that's... I actually kind of maybe want to go like here. Yeah, that'll work. So what kind of prompted this series idea was, well, I mean, it's guaranteed to get me views, but you know, it's summertime, or the end of summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, and this game always kind of just has reminded me of summer. It's a very relaxed game. Now I can't remember my actual layout for this and how much the walkers will actually walk if I lay it out like this. I do want branch offs though, because otherwise they're going to be kind of stuck together. Maybe I should just have it go small. But I kind of want big and beautiful for the center of the city. Okay. So yeah, so you know, I kind of got in the mood for this game because of the season, but also I was kind of pushed towards it by the GOG summer sale, and it had pretty much every game from my youth on sale, one of which was Zeus, but also all of the other Impressions city building games, like literally all of them. And so I bought all of them, which includes Caesar 3, 1, 2, 3. I didn't actually get Caesar 4, it'll probably be on sale for the Christmas sale, but so I will be looking at those a little bit later, even though I've been pushing them away. But the problem is that for some inexplicable reason, the GOG versions of this game don't have the building animations. Like the little guy who will be here in a minute when I have this running just doesn't show up. And I don't know why. No one else on the internet apparently knows why. I looked at the forums. And so it's just an unsolvable mess, which is really disappointing. So I actually had to go get my disk and do the workarounds for making that work. And so here we are. See, I'd like to have a big thing in here, but that's too big for a monument because monuments are 3. But I might be able to actually get like a fish pond in here. I think my layouts are going to end up being pretty variable. I'm definitely not going to make them all L-shaped. I'm not going to make them all uniform. They're pretty much going to go as they fit. So, again, this is kind of hard for me because I'm going to break myself out of the mentality of making everything uniform. And okay, this will be overly beautiful. But the thing is, the good vibes that all this stuff puts out will eventually spill over, because especially if I'm going to be putting ugly Agora stuff in place, like the granary and some warehouses, which is going to be necessary to supply all these Agoras, then I'll probably want to have an excessive amount, I would say, of beautification structures sort of in this area. Okay, so I think we can let this run. We have some of the basic structures that I need. And employees are needed, I am aware. They all come in from here.
Word is that there are plenty of jobs here for anyone who wants one.
The music seems to be getting a little loud, but I have had issues with the sound balancing. Yeah, so like this little animation with this guy here, the water flowing, I imagine all of the others. I had not played long enough to have a god appear or anything, but those are missing from the GOG version, and I don't know why. I don't understand, especially because you would think that these guys would have the same type of animation. I don't know. I don't know enough about the structure of the game and the game files to understand it, but anyway. Okay, so we can now let that pause for a moment. So unemployment is incredibly large. So we probably should get some food started. Do I actually, centralized... It's actually... Ooh, there is actually some spillover down here. I wasn't paying attention to that. So we actually have 3 food areas. I like that. This will be the growing stuff, though, because I'm going to have to put my Athena and Demeter up there. So this will be... I guess my initial food, or no, this will be my oh, I don't have goats or sheep. It'll be nothing. It'll be onions. Onions all around. The stinky, stinky people of Larissa. Yeah, I could put some urchins in there as well. This is going to be very spread out. So I'm going to have to utilize the mechanic now of waypoint storage, basically. So I'm probably going to put a little warehouse area down here so that it can get the initial stuff, or even a granary, and then it'll have to get over to here. So let's actually work on this for a minute. Where the hell is it? Common Agora. Okay. So I think I'll go ahead and do this, just kind of central here, and I'll have roads splitting off, and this will probably be, though. I'm just kind of looking at the... How about we do that instead, actually? I just realized there's an issue with this. That's okay, though, because we can do something like this to put another Agora here. I was actually hoping they'd kind of line up there, but... Oh, no, actually, because then they would act like a natural... It'll act like a natural roadblock, because they wouldn't be able to walk through it. There you go. Okay. So the road won't be connected if we do that, which will be awkward, to say the least. But we're going to need something that will get these guys through. So I'm going to have a road probably come up here, and I don't think I want it to go that way, actually, because then I'm going to have issues. I'm pretty much going to have to block off this whole road if I want to put a building right there. But if I branch this out and maybe have 3? Because then I could put a monument here, perhaps. I don't know how this is gonna... I'm gonna have to put roadblocks in... Unless I do housing here. Okay. Let's not... I'm gonna try and not do the typical thing of weighing myself down with overthinking this, but it is kind of necessary at the same time. So that will prevent me from putting it right there, but I can do something like this. And then maybe we can run some columns back here. We'll run some Doric columns along here. How about just gonna branch that off. Okay, so let's set up an initial granary. That's going to... How much space do I actually have here? That'd be 3, that'd be 3, and that'd be 3. But I wouldn't be able to have the road go this way. So I was thinking maybe kind of a bigger area. So what if we... I would like some uniformity, though. Uniformity looks really nice in these games, but I wouldn't be able to do that here, because then this would end up closed off. And a 4 would go here. I could get 2 granaries here. Now, is that going to be necessary? It might not, because what do we have? They're all piers. Okay, I do not have any land. Let's look at our actual city here. You'll notice, and I didn't mention this, that I am utilizing the widescreen mod that somebody made long ago, and I actually had to track down a secondary source because the initial link is no longer working. So yeah, really we only have access to Troy, and Troy is a third-party city. I'm going to have to move my little recording thing right here because I can't see the top of everything. So I don't think I can ever have a land route to Troy. So it's water all the way. Okay. See, now, because if I put this... Well, maybe... What if I did this, then? That's still obnoxiously in the way. Doing 2 agoras. Now, I mean, eventually I'd probably want to, because if I have enough stuff here... Nah. Okay, let's think about this a little bit more. Because what I'm also going to need eventually, and I don't remember where... Horse Ranch. I'm going to want ease of access for this, right? Probably. Unfortunately, it's just not going to fit. None of it fits in this game. That's not true. Okay, well, we're not gonna have horses here because this will be sort of the central working area. So along the way over here, somewhere else is going to be the rich district, and yes, I would like to eventually close this off with walls. We'll probably wall off these sections by themselves, so they'll remain sort of outside the city proper. Yeah. Okay. Good God, how much time am I wasting this way? Yeah, God, that's so awkward. Maybe I should just cut it here, because then that would give me 2 and 2. And a very bizarre strip beside this that I can't really utilize. At least here, this is actually necessary. This is actually necessary. But I could also do one right beside it. Okay. Now that's way smaller than I want it to be, though, because we're gonna end up with all sorts of damn warehouses. But this is so awkward to have it like this. Because now what do I put there? I could actually put a building here, though, but now I can't put my pillar. Oh my God, this doesn't work out. I should have laid this out before having this go. Alright. So these people are now grossly in the way. Gonna have to wait until they are no longer in the way. Alright. We'll just plunk this down here. We'll figure this out later. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're having the same issue with the... Alright, it's gonna look like this. We're gonna do some funky fill-ins and whatever a little bit later. Not right now. This will need its own safety everything. And I just realized there's not going to be much that I can do in there. So actually, it does need to be just down to 2, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it does. Because otherwise, I won't be able to touch everything. And I was thinking at leaving this open... Alright. It's not going to be symmetrical. But that's okay. I can hear you screaming, no, it's not. Okay. So, in actuality, I could make this another one. But I don't think I need to. So this will go that way. And where are we again? Okay. Now what this will do is allow me to have one of these guys. Who is going to be walking all over the goddamn place. So can we somehow utilize this? Nope. Dang it. How much? See, this is why I chose beginner, so I have money to waste when I just go clicking and deleting and all that stuff. Okay. So that'll work for now, until I actually decide what I really want to do with this space. I don't know, it just looks so awkward to have that. Doesn't it? Doesn't that look weird? Because then you've got an intersection there and this bizarre intersection here, which is actually now completely unnecessary because it is touching the back wall here. I don't need this, which if anything is actually going to cause more problems because now... Because now there's going to be multiple angles for them to go down. So I'm going to want that to eventually branch off there. Yeah, I mean, having this in here, I could block it off with roadblocks, but I could put this guy... Okay. Do that? Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... Okay, good. I was about to have a freak out there. So maybe we could actually do columns up along here? That might look nice. And then change this to something else? I don't know, the beautification for basic stuff is actually really limited. Like, really... Oh, I could do a boulevard. Well, that doesn't really make sense for this. Whatever. Okay, let's have this go a little bit more. And I've got a ton of people. So the administrative section of the city now will be close by because this is going to be, like I say, central to the whole thing. And now it's off kilter. Oh man, this is just the necessary OCD of this game. Just doesn't fit with what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So anyway, I'll build that up, but I'm going to want that walled, and I'm going to want it beautified, because I am going to guess that we will run into monsters in the sandbox mode and all that. So I'm going to want something where I can put heroes' halls. If nothing else, just make it super beautiful to the center of the city to kind of offset what is going to be horrible with all the various storerooms and all that. So... we're really going to have to actually focus on trying to keep this a little bit purer as far as getting things together. I also need a stadium, which might have to be central to the city. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the actual center, though. And in fact, looking at the few layouts of actual Greek cities that I quickly glanced at on Google, the centers of the city, you know, the administrative, the market center, all that, the religious centers, are actually pretty spread out, which I think will work well for the hilltop temples and whatnot. So maybe I don't actually want the stadium nearby. And in fact, I don't, right? Because it's the elite housing that require the athletes, I think. And the athletes are produced by the stadium. So I actually, wherever I'm going to lay out my elite housing on this map, and I haven't yet to determine where that's going to be, that's actually where I'm going to want the stadium. So maybe rather than putting the administration right here, I'll have it closer to here, which would actually make sense, because this is a road. I think this is the incoming road, and this is the outgoing road. I mean, I guess if we ever get invaded, I don't think that really matters because they just kind of pop in wherever. But it would just make sense, sort of, to have that the muster point for the military closer to a possible invasion point. And just for role-playing purposes, it's close to pretty much the entrance of the city. So I think that'll be good. Okay, I know there was a lot of rambling. I'm going to try and avoid that in the future as much as possible. I doubt I'll succeed, but I'm going to end this one here, and we'll continue on next time.